heme iron, about 40% heme iron. Besides of this one, zinc is the meat is very good source of zinc, and zinc is very important for the nerve system. Selenium as well, the meat is a good source for the selenium. So those factors, they can be considered as a functional food. Modified fatty acid and cholesterol level. The previous speakers, they mentioned that the cholesterol level in llama meat is very limited. And I've done an experiment and I found the bacterium and dromedary camel, they have the lowest cholesterol level compared to the beef and sheep or any type of the red meat, which is another sign for the functional food. And sometimes we can increase the functional food in meat by feeding the animal different types of the additives like probiotics or antioxidants. We've done an experiment. We got a deer and we give the deer vitamin E before we slaughter them. After that, the meat can be displayed for a long time because they are rich in antioxidants, and that's what can be considered as a functional food. So sometimes we can add to the processing when we do sausages or patties or mortadella, we can add some non-digestible polysaccharides to reduce the energy, reduce the fat, and they go into what and they go to we're going to reduce it from 279 to 187. In fat sausages with 12 added fiber and 12 soluble dietary fiber. We're going to increase the fiber and we're going to reduce the fat, we're going to reduce the energy. That's what we consider as a functional food. By adding another ingredient to the processing meat, like we add some pea fiber, we can add it about 10 to 14% to improve the fatness. In this case, we're going to reduce the amount of the fat and we're going to increase the fibers, which is they're going to be without affecting the juiciness of the oil or the flavor of the meat, the product. And that's when they're going to have low density fat, low energy with good healthy system. And sometimes they add lemon, albedo, or orange fiber to different types of the meat, and they're going to have an excellent result. The flavor is nice, the taste is nice, and much healthier than the normal sausages. And sometimes a lot of experiment was done to add some wheat or oat or fruit fiber to the dry fermented sausages to improve the nutritional value. This one another functional food, which is they're going to increase the nutritional value. Soybean protein, you can add it to low-fat longer, which is they're going to replace with the change of the physiochemical texture. And they're going to improve the nutritive value of those type of the products. Again, they're going to be a functional food. And sometimes they add some soy oil because they got 0.2 sterols and they're going to reduce the low density lipoprotein, which is one of the problems in the human health. They're going to block your arteries if they go high LDL. There's LDL and HDL. The LDL is the worst fat deposit in your artery, while the HDL will remove the fat from the arteries. And sometimes you can add tea. We call it tea catechins. This one has antioxidant. We can add it to the minced meat, and they're going to improve the nutritive value of that type of the meat. Any type of the meat, you can add it to the camel meat, lamb meat, alpaca meat, any type of the meat to improve the nutritional value. Because the soy protein, they're going to bind, emulsify, and hydrate meat, which is they're going to increase the yield. Because the problem with a lot of meat, when you cook it, you're going to lose a lot of water and you're going to lose the weight. By adding those ingredients, you're going to increase the yield, and they're going to be profitable for the producers and satisfied for the consumers. There's another option to add some oil fish or fish oils. The fish oil is rich in polyunsaturated fatty acids, especially omega-3. And everybody knows that's good for the health system, especially the arteries and for the heart. So you can add it to the processed camel meat, and that's not going to improve the nutritive value, and they're going to be as a functional food. And they're going to stable texture and sensory properties of the meat. And we can add some probiotic to fermented meat products, and they're going to be, again, as a healthy. For the fibers usually, they're going to bind with water. When they're going to bind with water, they're going to decrease the product, and they're going to decrease the density. And one of the health advice by a lot of physicians is increase your fiber intake, because the fiber intake is one is good for the digestive system, for the passage rate of the digestive system, and that's what they're going to improve the digestibility of the food you eat. And by adding that fiber to the meat products, you're going to that by increasing the binding, and at the same time they're going to have improve the digestibility in the human body. Again, this one could be considered as functional food. So the advantage of the meat product as a functional food, because in general, we talk about the camel one here. The camel one, some experiments they show they have those type of the antioxidant, carotene, creatine, and linoleic acid and antioxidant. And those antioxidants, they have carosine, anserine, iron, zinc, nutrient. Those ones they've been published scientifically. They are rich in camel meat, which is they're going to be antioxidant, which is the antioxidant is very good for human health. Then we can consider this one as a functional food for camel meat. Vitamin B12 as well. So the question is, why do we need functional food? Because we are worried about our health. Most of the government, they spend a lot of money for treatment. And sometimes the people, they spend a lot of money for their own treatments. So if we make a functional food and they got benefit to the human health and the human body, we're going to have a healthy population with low cost of the health system in the country. So consume priority for the reduced risk of illness, disease, and maintain health through the lifestyle. Everybody, or a lot of people, they like to exercise, they go to the gym, they do a lot of heavy exercise because they want to stay fit. So functional food, they're going to promote those type of the function in the human body. So the healing power concept focused on superfoods, and that's one we need to look for. The superfoods can help protect, and that's the challenge. Face the food industry and the meat industry and the camelid industry to produce this type of the food to promote or marketing this type of the products. And food to provide health benefit beyond nutrient, we talk about this one. If you look at this diagram, for example, the people usually when they go and buy food, why they buy that specific type of the food? So 18% they look for the types of the ADH, 20% they look for the sensitivity of the irritant, 21% they look for the menopause difficulties, 22% they look for the autoimmune disorder, 24% of the people they look for the hyperactivity, 27% for the osteoporosis, 28% for the memory and mind health, 41% look for high blood pressure, while 42% for the eating disorder, and so on. So you see there is variation in the percentage of the customers. When they go for shopping, they look for a specific type of the food, because those people, they suffer from those type of the disease or disorder they need to prevent. They want to treat themselves. And this survey was done about 2 years ago, and they found the variation, and according to that one, the people, they start to look for functional food. They want the food to give them health, to prevent diseases, not cause problems. Concept of the functional food. Functional food developed in Japan in 1980 as a food for specific health use. And this was established in 1991. Food for specific health use. So they define as well. Define as food or an ingredient a positive effect on individual health. And that's what the people they want. And this one started, as I say, in 1980. And from then they started developing and a lot of experiment, a lot of research now, a lot of funding research going on to develop this type of the concept for marketing a healthy food. So naturally, those types occur or sometimes by ingest or enhanced biological process. A lot of different types of the meat, they got a lot of an ingredient. But if you look about the camels, when you talk about the dromedary or bacterian or llama or alpaca, they got a natural bioactive compounds could be listed under the food for specific health use. But what we need more research and more experiment clinically to approve those type of the benefits. And that's why I would like to make any collaboration with any organizing, with any individual to look for those type of the research. So we can do research together clinically to approve those type of the compounds for human health, and then we're going to increase the marketing, especially the camelids. Because we need to market the camelids to European and to North America. We need to do that one, but without proof, a functional food is very hard to do that one. And that's why we need a collaboration group to work in this area. Concept of the nutraceutical foods, this one is developed by Stephen. We call it the foundation of the innovation of medicine. He developed this term. Nutraceutical came from, as I said, from two words, nutrition and pharmaceutical in 1989. This one has provide medical for health, to prevention and treatment of diseases, why we are here. So, nutraceutical is natural bioactive, chemical compounds have health promoting, and that's what we say, a bioactive peptides. The camelid meat or some other meats, they have this type of the compounds, which can be considered as a nutraceutical compounds, and that's why it's available there. I'm sure it's there, and I found some of them there, but we need to approve it clinically. So camelid meat is a functional meat. If you look at the camelid meat in general, camelid meat they have good source of amino acids, vitamins, minerals, polyunsaturated, antioxidant, bioactive compounds, and that's why we called it was based on functional food, nutraceutical. So the camelid meat can reduce the cholesterol. Why? Because low fat content and relatively high polysaturated fatty acids. And anti-hypertension effect, a lot of studies they published, and I attended in Korea in 2004, International Congress in Meat Science and Technology, and a group of scientists from Japan, they approved clinically the meat is a good source of compounds to reduce the anti-hypertension. And I visited a lot of camel farmers, and I found most of the people who consume camel meat, they have a very healthy life. So that means there is something over there. We need to approve it. And again, antioxidant and anti-cancer effect. So if we approve those scientifically, we can demand growing for the camel meat. In the past, there are some theories, and they say they use the camel meat for treatment of a lot of diseases. In the past, the Asian, but this one is not approved clinically. So they use it for treatment of a lot of diseases like seasonal fever, sciatica, shoulder pain, removing freckles, corner capacity, all this type of the diseases. In the past, they use the camel meat as a treatment. So what we need to approve those theories. Or the thought that people they use it in the past. Definitely they used it after experience. They don't use it for nothing. So Bioactive, as I said, as mentioned, that's one camel meat. We found they have carnosine, anserine, and that's one very important peptides found in muscle for the antioxidant, and they are good for the neurotransmitter in the brain. So this one of the functional food for the camel meat. The camel meat, they got about 182 milligram of the carnosine and 269 milligram of anserine for 100 gram fresh weight. At the same time, they got 5.2, 2.6, 7 micromole per gram for the carnitine and acetylcarnitine and total carnitine respectively. So taurine, again, we found in the camel meat, the activity and bile acid and white blood cells, antioxidant, all these has been approved scientifically and published in journal, which is they show the camel meat is a functional food. Because those compounds, those bioactive compounds, is very important for human health. And if you look at this, the diagram, they found the percentage of those antioxidant compounds in the camel meat, which is very significant effect as the camel meat is a functional food. The angiotensin converting enzyme inhibitors. As I said, this one has been approved by the Japanese. They got most of the meat, they got this type of the AC, we call it ACE inhibitors, and the ACE inhibitors inhibits the AC1 to convert to AC2, because the AC2 will cause shortage or shrinkage of the arteries and increase the blood pressure in the human. But if you consume meat, you're going to inhibit AC1 to convert to AC2. So that's means the AC2 is not there, so the blood pressure they are not going to be high. And this one is part of the protein component of the meat. They are peptides, large, about 150 amino acids. And those type of the amino acids we call them bioactive peptides. And they found it scientifically and they approved it clinically. They made some clinical study and they found they're going to reduce the blood pressure in the human. So usually when you eat the meat, what the meats go to the gastrointestinal, they're going to be what? They're going to be digested. When they're going to be digested, they're going to produce or generate bioactive peptides from the meat. Those bioactive peptides, they're going to be digested by pepsin, trypsin, or chymotrypsin. And that's one, for example, if you look at this one, the PTPVP, which is protein, threonine, proline, valine, and proline, those when they're going to decrease the systolic blood pressure rate for 25.6. And this one's been approved clinically. So this type of the bioactive peptides and the meat. But there is no research was done in the camel meat. I've done a research myself in the camel meat, and I found the camel meat, usually this one is in the thin filament, which is they call it myosin, part of the sarcoplasmic protein side of the muscle. So I found about 70% of the thin filament of the camelid meat, they got the bioactive peptides. But we need to specify the group of the peptides and then do clinical to approve, reduce the blood pressure in the human. So the bioactive peptides generated by enzymes, and usually there is endopeptides called the calpain and cathepsin. Those two enzymes by aging. Aging, if you leave the meat for a few days in the fridge, those enzymes, they're going to break down the protein inside of the myosin. And that's when they're going to create bioactive peptides, which is this another point, by aging the meat to increase the functional food of the camelid meat. So as I said, this experiment was done and I found 70 to 76% of the thin filament, they got bioactive compounds. And that's what they're going to do a functional food, and they're going to reduce the blood pressure in the human. Processed meat is another way to increase the bioactive compounds, or by adding more ingredient to the camel meats to be more functional food for marketing. So, balango is a ready meat the boneless, and they're going to be slow roasted over this one of them. And hamburgers, meatball, kofta, shawarma, sausages, all these, the processing which is going to change the physical and chemical by adding some ingredient. But usually when you look about the camel meat process, most of the camel meat process, we add very small amount of ingredient, which is they're going to have a benefit effect, not like the commercial when they add a lot of ingredient, and they're going to be unhealthy for a human consumption. So the processed meat is suitable for the red meat, and camel meat considered going to be like the other meat, we're going to be a novel and exotic for human consumption by processing. That's what like make a jerky or biltong, and those ones they're going to have a long shelf life, and they're going to provide a good, especially for athletic people. The people who want to reduce the weight, they're going to be low carbohydrate, low carb. They got a very small amount of the carbohydrate, but they got a good quantity of the protein and some bioactive compounds, which they're going to be healthy for a human. Biltong, those are types of the meat process is available everywhere, even in the negative from the llama in Latin America, this type of the process, and Kadim and jerky and pastrama, and these days it's available even the canned camel meat, and you can buy it in the supermarket. So the fatty acid of the camel meat, usually if you reduce the saturated fatty acid, they're going to be a healthy sign for the meat. Because a lot of people, they got the negative impression about the fat. When you hear the fat, you say it's not healthy. But not all the fat is not healthy. The fat is going to provide the human body with what? With fat-soluble vitamin, with essential fatty acids, with energy as well. But we don't want to consume a lot of saturated fatty acids. The polyunsaturated fatty acid is good, and usually the camelid, they put high relatively polyunsaturated fatty acid. So the polyunsaturated fatty acid in the camel is higher than the beef. Like the linoleic, they got 14%. The linoleic have anti-carcinogenic and anti-diabetic as well, and antioxidants. So that means the linoleic, the 14% of the camel meat, which is very good and very healthy for a human consumption. Cholesterol. As I mentioned, the cholesterol in the camel meat is 50 and below 50 milligrams, which is, they're going to be very low compared to the sheep or beef. Look at this table, they compare different species for the cholesterol. The camelid one, any type of the camels, they got very small or low level of cholesterol. This one, again, one of the functions of the camel meat is not available in another red meat animals. Can be used as a marketing for the camel meat. Amino acid, when we talk about this one, the amino acid is very good in the camel meat compared to the other species. You see 150 grams of camel meat cover daily requirement of lysine and leucine. Those are two essential amino acids. If you eat about 100 grams of camel meat, you don't need any supplement. 200 grams of camel meat, good source of major essential fatty acids. So, most of the essential acids in the camel meat, lysine followed by leucine, methionine, isoleucine, threonine, and phenylalanine, which is all of them very essential for human health. Again, I will repeat myself, those with a good sign can be considered as a functional food. While the glumatic acid is particle, those are the non-essential amino acid. So usually the camel meat better source of non-essential amino acid than beef and goat. And if you look at this diagram compare between 4 species, camelid with beef, with lamb, with goat, for the amount of meat different species required to supply daily of the essential for a human about 70 kg. You see in the histidine, the camel, isoleucine, leucine, lysine, except the methionine, the goat is higher, phenylalanine and threonine. This one again gives you an indication the camel meat is comparable and sometimes better than the other species to supply the human body with good quality of the protein, amino acid. So the mineral again, the mineral is the meat of the camel is a good rich in different types of minerals, potassium, sodium, silver, and calcium and magnesium. In addition of the calcium and magnesium, calcium is active calpain enzymes because for the muscle contraction we need a calcium. Because actin and myosin, they cannot contract if there is not enough calcium. And that's why if you heard about the milk fever in case of the cow, because there is not enough calcium for the contraction of muscle, and that's why the cow will collapse. And if you don't inject it with a source of calcium, the cow will die. So you see the amount. If you go to the next table, we'll show you compare between the camelid and beef and goat for different types of minerals. The magnesium, the potassium is a bit high, sodium lower than the goat and beef, which is good, and potassium and calcium. So again, comparing with the most common used meat in the world, we see the camel is superior for the other species. Vitamins, as I mentioned in the beginning, vitamins very good. 50 grams of camel meat provide you with about 2.4 grams of vitamin B12, which is represent 118 of daily requirement, more than your body needs. So the amount of vitamin B12 in camel is higher than sheep and veal meat as well. And so on, the vitamin B6 higher than pork, turkey, chicken, fish. 200 grams of camel meat to provide 80% of daily requirement of vitamin B6, and so on. So riboflavin as well, higher than the beef, lamb, ostrich, pork, which is, give you another sign, the camel meat is more rich in vitamins than the other species. Contaminated of the camel meats, a lot of people these days, they worry about the safety of consumption meat. Is the meat is not contaminated with antibiotics, hormones, pesticides, so many chemicals available these days. So we run some experiments, we compare the camel meat with another species, and we found the camel meat, they were the lowest amount of all type of contamination, which is a good sign, and that's what leads us to the camel have the ability to detoxify its body of contamination. They can get rid of the contamination from the body more than the other species. Again, this one is one of the benefits for the camel meat. In conclusion, usually consumers become better informed about the nutrition and health aspects, although that's why they're looking for a specific type of the food. Food manufacturers face challenge. They have to provide a healthy food to the consumers to keep the marketing going. Functional meat provide great potential for health if you consider the functional food, raw or processed. And functional camel meat act as a nutraceutical for consumer. Camel meat contains bioactive compounds. This one's been approved scientifically. And camel meat can be an important contribution to nutrient intake in the diet. So when diet is wrong, medicine is of no use. When diet is correct, medicine is of no use. Thank you very much.
Bien, vamos a solicitar a la sala dos preguntas también. Si alguien está interesado en una pregunta, por favor, puede levantar la mano. Ahí hay una pregunta, por favor, a la señorita. Nos ayuda, por favor, con traducción para que el doctor se le pueda hacer.
Hola, buenos días, doctor. Excelente su presentación, sobre todo porque revalorizó todas las características y cualidades excelentes de los camelidos, sobre todo de la llama. Me parece muy importante, sobre todo porque nuestra labor, yo soy veterinaria y tenemos un trabajo arduo en incrementar la producción y productividad de estos animales aquí para la seguridad alimentaria de nuestros pobladores.